She told her husband, at a certain point, it's probably easier for her to die. This woman was diagnosed with rectal colon cancer, and through a series of appointments, wound up having 9 centimeters of her rectum and colon removed. Now, that's a tube that goes from your mouth to the other end. And if you take part of that tube out of there, it's going to change her life completely. And it changed her life completely. She couldn't be more than 10 feet from a bathroom. She spent the majority of her day there because she had no bowel control. When you lose that, you lose your dignity on a certain level. She couldn't sleep. She was depressed. She told her husband, at a certain point, it's probably easier for her to die. Right? And she talked to the doctors, and what is the solution? You have to learn to live with this, right? Okay, so it's very easy to give up on life at that point, and she almost did. But she came across our work, and she started doing her meditations. She told me backstage. I asked the doctors if there was any hope for me, and they said, at your age, belief, we don't really expect anything to get any better. You're just going to learn to cope with it. When she said when she started doing the meditations, she couldn't go for more than a few seconds before she had to use the restroom. And over time, if she wasn't doing the meditation on the toilet, over time, she noticed that she had a 10-minute period where she didn't have to use the restroom. And that's all she needed because she knew in that moment that whatever she was doing was helping her in some way. And every single day, she would do the work and she would stretch her rectum and colon and actually stretch it to the point it would reconnect. She did this for years. I know this is hard to believe because it's hard for me to believe. She showed up at an event we did in San Diego about 1.5 years ago. And this was her first event. She had never been out of the house since her surgery, and she took a risk. And she was able to go through all of the lectures and all of the meditations without having to use the restroom, and went back to her doctor after then, and she had 5 centimeters of her rectum and colon starting to grow back. Well, when she wound up in Cancun, she showed me the scans, and she grew 10 centimeters of that tissue back. And I saw the scans. It wasn't scar tissue that was aged or partially grown. It was regenerated, fresh, brand new, healthy, juvenile, opalescent vascular tissue. Now, having part of an organ tissue removed out of your body, and then holding to the idea that you could actually regenerate it and actually do it, right? What does that tell us? It tells us that the human body has the innate capacity to regenerate itself at any age if it's given the right information. And so there's a story of transformation where a person went from certainly one state of mind and body to another state of mind and body. And that's the first time we've ever seen something like that happen. We've seen people grow tissues back like thyroid tissue, but an organ that was removed and for it to grow back is a great story of transformation.